Yesterday, the A's never say die attitude returned to the Coliseum. Down 2 in the bottom of the ninth, the Green and Gold's offense kicked into gear, rattling off 3 runs capped by Josh Reddick's walk-off single as the Athletics continued their dominance over the Astros. Today, Jesse Chavez takes the hill, and he's been nothing but spectacular so far. Jesse will be seeking his first Major League win as a starter, and the Athletics will go for the 3-game sweep. A's, Astros, coming up next. Beautiful day at the ballpark, and it is Easter Sunday, so happy Easter to all of the great A's fans out there who are watching us this afternoon. And Josh Reddick, a hero from yesterday, he's starting to heat up, and the A's are playing great baseball. Jesse Chavez will try to help the A's sweep today. So it's the third and final game of the series. It's the Houston Astros, and it's the Oakland A's coming up on Easter Sunday here on Comcast Sportsnet, California. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Carper. You saw Josh Reddick, and he's got a little extra bounce in his step today. Why not? He's had a terrific series, and hopefully that slow start, Ray, is now behind him.
Got some pie on his face, too. Usually he's the one giving the pie. He got 2 in our post-game interview yesterday, but it is great to see him, first of all, smiling because he's been hitting the ball so well. 6 hits in this series, including the home run on Friday night. But it's great to see him because his batting average now is back to respectability. He started the series .093 batting average, is now 200 starting today. He'll take the pie in his face. It doesn't matter, take 2 as a matter of fact. But Josh Reddick, smiling, even with that haircut, we'll take what you're getting right now from him.
That's right. That's the 7th grade comb-over, I believe is what he calls it. Jesse Chavez will take the mound today. Still looking for his first Major League win, but he's been terrific. The thing that stands out to me is not only does he throw a lot of strikes, but he throws a lot of quality strikes.
He throws great strikes. You're seeing some curveballs. He's got a cut fastball, a changeup. He'll spot his fastball. Front door, when you can buckle the knees of Mike Trout, which he does right here, that's saying a lot. But he does a great job. He has a 135 earned run average, 1.35. He does not have a decision, but if he keeps his ERA there, he's going to win a lot of games. He's doing a tremendous job in the rotation for the Athletics. Couldn't ask for anything more.
And he'll be opposed by the young right-hander Brad Peacock, who made 3 starts against the A's last year. So the A's are going for the sweep on Easter Sunday here at the HOU at OAK Coliseum. A gorgeous day for baseball. We'll have lineups, and we'll have first pitch from the HOU at OAK when we come back.
Remove your caps.
resale value. Toyota, let's go places.
John Jaso and the Athletics going for the 3-game sweep of the Houston Astros here on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a good holiday. Happy Easter to everybody. Let's look at the game time weather, which is brought to you by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The admission-free boardwalk is open for spring break now through April 20th. That would be today. Better get over there this afternoon. 71 degrees. It's gorgeous and just a nice light breeze. So that's the kind of day it is in the Bay Area.
Not a good day at the park anyway here to have an Easter egg hunt, especially with chocolate. Not if you have the plastic eggs with chocolate in between. In the middle, maybe that work out, but it's nice and not a cloud in the sky. And as we say all the time on day games, sunny, make sure you run out everything.
Let's look at the lineup for the Houston Astros today. Jose Altuve will lead off and play second base. Dexter Fowler's in center. Jason Castro back in the lineup. He'll do the catching. George Springer's in right. Mark Krause at first. Chris Carter, the designated hitter. And then L.J. Ho's in left. Marwin Gonzalez gets to start at third. And Jonathan Villar, who's had a good series, is at short.
Jesse Chavez, his fourth start. Still no decision, but with a 135 earned run average. He has not walked a batter in each of his last 2 starts. 2 in the first game, but scored some runs, but the most important thing, the A's have won all 3 that he started.
So Jose Altuve steps in, and we're about to get this baby going. A's with the dramatic win yesterday. 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning.
First pitch.
Thinking about that game yesterday, Ray, after Lowry hit the home run to lead off the bottom of the 9th. I think a lot of people felt the same way I did. I think the A's are going to win this game.
Yeah, that was big because similar thing happened to Felix Hernandez, and the A's could not come back and win because Fernando Ronnie got a couple of strikeouts. But yesterday, Chad Qualls just was not that efficient.
Reddick, a long run. He dives, and it's fair, and it rolls past him right down the right field line. And Altuve has a leadoff bloop double right down the right field line. So Reddick, a long run and a headlong dive. And the home plate umpire is down on the ground between home and first. Not sure what happened. I was looking at the ball down the right field line.
Josh Reddick, a headlong dive, and could not come up with it. And Eric Sogard looked like he dropped his glove to go chase the ball. Andy Fletcher went down because they have the rotation of the umpires. Once a ball is hit, then they know where to rotate. And if Fletcher looked like he was going down to first in case maybe there was a throw back behind the runner.
Well, when I looked past Altuve when he got to second base, I saw Fletcher kind of laying on the ground.
Ryan Shulman out quickly, one of the A's trainers, and I'd say from an umpire standpoint, they want the least amount of attention than anybody. And for Andy Fletcher, he's probably more embarrassed than anything. The fact that he lost his footing, and the field is a little bit wet at the beginning because Clay Wood will water the dirt part down because it dries out so quickly, and probably just lost his footing.
So Andy Fletcher calling balls and strikes, and he's back behind home plate, so hopefully he's okay. So it's a leadoff double for Altuve, and here's Dexter Fowler. First pitch is outside. So you say rotation when a ball's hit down there. The first base umpire is going to go down there a little ways, and that leaves first base somewhat vacated from an umpire standpoint. So the home plate umpire's job is to work his way in that direction.
That's why at times we'll see a play at third base where the home plate umpire is the one making the call, because the third base umpire will run out, let's say, for a ball in the outfield to see if it's going to be caught or not. And the home plate umpire runs down the line, and as Derek Jeter said when he made the great play back in the early 2000s, what was I supposed to do?
Let's see if we can see Andy Fletcher. Look in the background, and there's nobody around him, so he just lost balance or tripped over the chalk line. We don't know.
He did a three row. That's pretty good.
And the best thing for him, we don't have it on camera, and he's hoping the Astros have the same.
Nice pick at third by Donaldson. Throws across, and Fowler's retired. So out number one, Altuve stays at second. Let's look at the A's defense. Cespedes, Crisp, and Reddick in the outfield. Donaldson, Lowry, Sogard, Moss on the infield. J.So is your catcher. Here's Castro. Well, as great as the A's are playing, and they have the best record in the American League at 12-5, Val Melvin concerned about the A's defense. There's too many good defensive players out on the field for the A's for them to have made as many errors as they have made. And they've made 18. That's the most in the American League, and everybody's a little surprised by that.
Well, this one was caught, fortunately, and that kind of makes up for errors maybe that Josh Donaldson has made, because he can handle the hot shot, which that one was backhanded by him. And, of course, a strong throw, as he always makes. But, yeah, there's always a concern, because if you're pitching and defense oriented, you're going to win a lot of games that way, and your pitching is great, but your defense is not. That is cause for concern.
Exmo brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort.
For Donaldson, shows his great hands, because anytime an infielder takes the ball to the side, backhand or scooping in case to the left, don't use the body. And for Josh Donaldson, he has great hands and a very, very strong arm.
Pickoff at second. Altuve just back. Donaldson has struggled some defensively this year, and this was earlier today. He was out there taking ground balls.
Well, you know, the gates weren't open.
Nope.
Looking at Josh, the way he's dressed, yeah, not surprised he's going.
Runner goes, throw to third, got him. Altuve thrown out at third, and that's the first out.
And that is great, because he had a feeling once Fowler did not move Altuve to third base, where a ground ball and out would have scored him. Takes off, but with a left-handed hitter, John J.So, a perfect throw, quick tag by Josh Donaldson, and Altuve is out. And there's the tag in the left hand as Altuve went for the bag. But unlike yesterday, where there were a couple of stolen bases at third, this one with one out, at least attempted with the one out, became two after watch the tag by Donaldson as the hand Altuve comes in, and it gets the hand before it gets the bag. Great play by J.So, but when it's unobstructed because of a left-handed hitter, makes it even better.
Castro takes a close pitch outside, and he's got a 2-out walk. First runner thrown out. Attempting to steal
right fielder
for the A's. How about that?
See, I didn't know that. I didn't even think about it.
They got somebody somewhere.
Those pitchers never give him a chance.
That's right. It's not the catcher's fault.
Well, Altuve, then, he's the first victim.
So here's George Springer. Getting our first look at one of the baseball's top prospects, Springer. No pressure, just put him right in the cleanup spot for the entire series. He's 3 for 9 with an RBI in this series.
Now, thinking about Jesse Chavez, this is his first start on a Sunday at home. Started midweek against the Mariners, and of course on the road he started a couple of games. But if you think about Sunday at the Coliseum, take the field with the A's. Everything changes. The anthem is performed while the players and the kids are on the field. Pitcher doesn't go out until all that's finished.
That one's hit into the corner, and it is fouled, not by much.
I saw Springer hit a ball at the top of the wall yesterday. That was a double against Dan Otero, and fortunately he's got out of that inning. But I think with Jesse Chavez, maybe just everything's different, because normally he doesn't walk a batter and he walks one. He gives up a bloop double. Fortunately, he's thrown out a third. But if you're accustomed to a routine and the anthem's played, take the field, start, then all of a sudden that all changes. So maybe today's just a little bit different for him. They'll have to get accustomed to the changes. Plus, maybe went Easter egg hunt this morning.
Yeah, which would Force a little later start. And that's ripped down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Cespedes is able to cut it off, and holding at second is Castro. If that ball gets by Cespedes, probably a run for the Astros, but he got over there.
Well, the throw out of third of Altuve, very, very big. That's a front door cut fastball that really did not break that much. And you're right, Cespedes has tremendous speed to be able to get to the ball, and Castro did not want to make the third out at third, so he stopped at second. He's got some talent.
Yeah, he's got good speed too, and he's a big guy, Springer.
And you know, fortunately for Springer, he kept his head up as he's running because he probably thought Castro was going to third. He's going to go for two.
So Mark Krause, the hitter. Yeah, we've seen it this year a couple times where guys are just going full steam ahead to second base.
I did it with Chuck Hinton at first base in Old Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. I hit a ball down the line. I slid into second. He called me safe. As he's standing on the back, I said, "What are you doing here?"
Well, you had good speed.
Yeah, head down, going for two, and Chuck, you're safe, but you're out.
Isn't it amazing? Sometimes you remember the mistakes better than the good things.
Yeah. But the important thing is you always keep your head up. You know, always pay attention to what's going on. And you know, if you're thinking one thing with the head down, you're not going to see things develop. And I think of Jason Kendall when he scored from third base on a throwback to the pitcher Francisco Rodriguez, and he just slapped at it with his glove, and Jason ended up running 90 feet, scored the winning run the bottom of the ninth inning. And he simply said, "My dad taught me to always watch the baseball."
Sure.
He watched the baseball. He watched Francisco Rodriguez miss it. He darted for home. Game over.
So 1-2 to Mark Krause, and that pitch outside. So 2-2, 143 for Krause with a homer and 2 RBIs. A couple of hits, a walk. So far for the Astros here in the first inning, they have not been able to score.
Chavez has a backdoor cut fastball. Tried to do it with the last pitch.
Shift is on for Krause, and he fouls it back to the screen. So Jesse Chavez working a little extra hard here in the top of the first inning. And that one's hit into the air, shallow right. Reddick coming in. This should do it, and it does. So the Astros threaten but do not score. A's come to bat in the bottom of the first. No score. take a quick look at the A's lineup today. Crisp, Lowry, Donaldson, Moss, Cespedes, Callaspo, Reddick, Jaso, and Sogard. There's your A's lineup for this afternoon.
And it will be Brad Peacock, a former farmhand of the Athletics, but he faced, as Cap said earlier, 3 starts against the A's last year, and he pitched well. He's got a good fastball, low to mid-90s. Curveball, slider, and changeup. So the right-hander knows how to pitch. He gets the opportunity with the Astros as he will face the Athletics. He did strike out 21 batters in the 3 starts that he made against the A's. A couple are here and 1 in Houston.
Defensively for the Astros, Hose, Fowler, Springer left, center, and right. Gonzalez, VR left side, Altuve, Krause right side. Castro's your catcher. Now here's Coco Crisp, set to lead things off for the A's in the bottom of the first inning. Now the music's pumping today, huh, Ray, on Easter Sunday?
Is that what you call it?
Ah.
Is that actual music?
It's Easter Sunday. Mellow sunshine.
Oh, boy.
First pitch to Coco, in for a strike from Brad Peacock.
Yeah, you remember this, Cap, April 5th. Curveball, 1 and 2. Home run for Coco Crisp. Led off the game and got the tunnel. Different hairdo. And that was the beginning of hitting a home run in 4 consecutive games for Coco. 3 in Houston and 1 in Anaheim against C.J. Wilson.
Yeah, Peacock made 2 of those 3 starts against the A's last year very early.
Yeah.
In the first couple weeks of the season. And first start this year for the 26-year-old right-hander Brad Peacock. A little half swing down the right field line. Springer dives. Did he catch it? He did.
Wow.
What a sensational play by the rookie George Springer.
Got those young legs, and he sprinted in. And the headlong dive, and Coco trying to match Altuve, but this is a fair ball. As it was called by the umpire at first base, but a great play by Springer. And to have the speed to catch up to the ball, unfortunate for Coco, stayed in the air a little bit too long, but tremendous play by Springer.
So Coco was thinking, I got a double, and if it rolls past him, I got a triple. So 1 out. Here's Lowry, who takes low. Lowry hitting .263, couple of home runs, 7 RBIs. Good on base percentage for Lowry.
This is legitimate, and you know, to leave the feet, a lot of times or sometimes I see guys catch a ball chest high and then dive, but Springer had to lay out the way he did to be able to make the play.
And that's fair, just inside the bag at third. Hose is able to cut it off quickly, and he holds Lowry to a single. So LJ Hose, who we've seen all series playing shallow and playing close to the line, will help them there.
Well, Lowry, who usually hits a lot of doubles as he did last year, this time at least he was thinking about maybe positioning a Hose in the outfield, and even though it would normally be a double, especially if it gets past the outfielder, but because Hose was playing shallow, great inside-out swing, stayed inside the line, and Hose able to cut the ball off. And you're right, the positioning definitely helped him there.
So second hit in the series for Lowry, and here's Donaldson.
That's important right there, not to have your head down thinking too, because it's going to be an easy double, and looked and saw Hose got the ball back in. He would have hosed him.
That was a good one. Bringing out your Easter humor. Good start. I'm going to miss you in the third inning, Ray. Yeah. In the third inning, we're going to do something a little different today. Ray's going to go over for the Astros telecast for an inning with Alan Ashby, and we're going to be joined by Jeff Blum, who is the Astros color analyst. Just want you to know, Ray, I'm going to miss you.
Yeah, well.
There's Jeff Blum, longtime major leaguer, so we're looking forward to talking to Jeff about the Astros. He was a
you have to see
Cal guy.
See if he brings the computer over.
Sure. Shut that computer right down. So we'll look forward to that. Ray, you can spend an inning with one of your old teammates, Alan Ashby.
He was a teammate in Cleveland and moved on to bigger and better things in Houston, where it makes his home, and got some no-hitters. Played well in postseason. Spent greater part of his career in Houston. So it's actually good for him to get back home, where he's now broadcasting. Was there before, went to Toronto, worked with Jerry Howarth on the radio side.
3-1 now to Donaldson.
Think about Alan Ashby. He is right here. This young man, he's got about 14 grandkids, something like that. I mean, he doesn't even look like.
I was going to say, he's in way too good a shape to be.
Is, yeah, he's a good man.
Having 14 grandkids. Yeah, Alan Ashby's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. There's a shot to left. HOU's going back, and that baby's gone. Donaldson gives the A's an early 2-0 lead. Line drive home run, his 4th of the year, give him 12 RBIs.
And he's happy to do it here at home on Easter Sunday, his first at the Coliseum. The first 3, of course, started at Target Field, the opposite field. Crushed one to right center field, but this fastball and a 3-1. We talk about looking for a pitch and getting it and not missing it. That was perfect. He almost hit it in the overdock.
Yeah, you're right. He went right in that opening between the steps and the out-of-town scoreboard, which is right near the hit it here sign. Moss, right field. That's a base hit. 3 consecutive hits off Peacock here in the first inning.
Brandon Moss getting the start at first today, gets a high off-speed pitch and crushes it, gets on top of the ball, and that's, to me, is always an exceptional hitter, to be able to take a high pitch and not get under and hit the ball straight up. Instead, Brandon Moss, as he showed at Anaheim, yes, he likes to talk, but at Anaheim he got a low fastball from Skaggs, the lefty, and hammered it for a home run, and it's the high off-speed pitch from the right-hander. Did the same thing.
So Cespedes steps in. Good series for Cespedes. He's 5 for 8 with a homer, 3 RBIs, and a couple of walks. Inside corner strike.
You look at yesterday, and you mentioned the home run by Lowry, and then the walk to Donaldson. But Cespedes, with the entire right side of the infield open, solid base hit in the gap that was opened up on the right side, and that, of course, helped the A's continue the inning and ultimately win it in walk-off fashion. But he's getting smarter and smarter, and that hole is there again for him today if he wants to take it and try it. Altuve playing close to second. Sure, the Astros, like a lot of clubs, say take your single, go to the opposite field. But if you pitch that way, why try to pull it, roll over, and maybe hit a double play?
Callaspo in the on-deck circle. Donaldson with a 2-run homer here in the first. Breaking ball is inside, 2-1. So Brad Peacock not real sharp in the early going. So 2-1 to Cespedes, and it's hit on the ground right to the shortstop VR out at second, and that's a double play. So Cespedes hits into the 6-4-3 double play, but Donaldson home run number 4 on the year, and it gives the A's a 2-0 lead after 1.
program. For more information, click on community@athletics.com.
So it's the second inning. Donaldson with a home run for the A's in the bottom of the first. So 2-0 Athletics. It'll be Carter, Hose, and Gonzalez against Jesse Chavez. Shutdown inning. 3 for 3 for Jesse Chavez. See if he can make it 4 for 4.
Normally, opposition takes the lead and the A's have to come back to tie it or take it to extra innings, which has happened twice. But Jesse also in his first start, that was against the Mariners. Remember the double error first batter Almonte.
Yep.
He ended up scoring, and the A's were down 1. This was the pitcher. The A's tied it, went extra innings and won. So Chavez with a leadoff double. Great throw out by Jaso, and gets out of the inning.
Something you certainly cannot overlook, Ray. Chavez's record is 0-0. He's pitched great. But the A's have won all 3 games that he has started. Absolutely. And that's the most important thing. Well, and certainly he deserves to get a win now and then. He's pitched great, but Cespedes has to hustle in, and he makes the catch.
Well, every pitcher will tell you it's their job to keep the opposition to score, and that's what Chavez did. And it's what really, you look at yesterday, Scott Kazmir did a tremendous job. 2 earned runs, left with trailing 3-1. But this is Chavez and how very good he is. And strikeout to walk ratio, ERA very, very low. And the walks per 9 inning, whoever's better has got to be very, very good. But he's less than 1 per 9. And he's already walked his 1.
Taps this one to Lowry. Does LJ Hose. 2 outs. Yeah, coming into this start, 2 walks, 22 strikeouts in 20 innings. He did walk somebody in the first inning today. So 2 quick outs, and here's Marwin Gonzalez, who is starting at third base today. So Dominguez getting the afternoon off. Astros are 5-13, and they're struggling. They have lost 6 in a row. They will head to Seattle after the game for a 3-game set with another struggling team, the Mariners. They'll play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Mariners lost again. 3-2 in Miami. They were swept in Miami, and the Mariners have now lost 6 in a row. So somebody's going to feel a little bit better on Wednesday. I don't know who. It'll be 2 struggling teams matching up at Safeco Field in Seattle.
Well, the biggest difference, and we know what the Astros are going to be like in the future, but the future for the Mariners is right now. At least this year was at least expected to be much better than in the past. And so while both are struggling, I think the Mariners would feel a lot better if they can get back on the winning track. The Astros, they will be good, and they're in that process right now.
That's a base hit to left field for Marwin Gonzalez. Yeah, the Mariners now 7-10 on the year. So 2-out single for Gonzalez. Here's Jonathan Villar, who has had a good series.
Change up outside that stayed up.
Villar steps in. 4 for 7 in the series. He's got a homer, a double, and 2 singles. Taps that one towards second. Sogard picks it up, flips to first, side, retired. Hitting a runner stranded, bottom of the second coming up. Callaspo to lead it off. 2-0 A's.
The A's are ready to disprove. And Josh Reddick, stay hot. And how great would it be to have him on third consecutive post-game interview? As we had him Friday night, a big night for him. Yesterday afternoon with the walk-off, and his average has started to rise quickly back to respectability.
Callaspo to lead it off. He takes a strike. 327 with a couple of homers, 10 RBIs for Alberto Callaspo, who is, well, right now, Ray, he's a regular designated hitter.
Yes, he is.
And he's off to a great start.
He would tell you his most non-DH, more guys named, not named David Ortiz, that is, that he would prefer to play in the field, but he likes to swing the bat, and he can do that.
Don't you think, Ray, though, that designated hitter spot has changed in the last 5 or 6 years? It used to be every team had a DH type,
That's right.
whatever that means.
Sure.
Maybe an older player who could still hit. You know, the Edgar Martinez, Frank Thomas, David Ortiz, and you don't see too many of those guys anymore.
No, I think most American League managers like to rotate the DH and give somebody a half day off. Jed Lowry's had it a couple of times. Josh Donaldson one time as a DH. But, you know, it's a good thing about that because it gives players a half day. Bad news? Not that.
That's good news right there. As Callaspo with the magic wand just kind of flipped one, and it just rolled past Gonzalez into left field, and that's a leadoff single. Here's our Ford right choice yesterday. Josh Reddick, walk-off single, 1 out in the 9th inning. And there it was. He was always a good interview after the game, and thought it was interesting. Chad Qualls has a real good sinker. It's a pitch that's going to be running away from a left-handed hitter, and he said he chased a couple of those pitches that were probably off the plate outside, and he was looking for it again, so he was leaning out there a little bit, but slider came in, and he just dropped the bat head on the slider and won the game.
Just reacted on a bad pitch by a reliever, but that's what happens. You make a bad pitch. In case of Reddick, good things happen.
Well, we talked a little bit about it after the game. Qualls has a very good sinker, and he had Reddick chase a couple earlier in the count to foul balls off. We were a little surprised that he threw him a slider.
Absolutely.
Because a double play would have been a good thing there.
And it's hard to get a double play on a hanging slider.
Yeah.
What I was saying before Callaspo got the hit, the bad news is that with the DH in the American League, National League does not, that if more and more teams don't utilize a true designated hitter, in the case of Red Sox, it's as if when David Ortiz decides to retire, will that change the thinking of Major League Baseball to say in both leagues it's going to be the same? You either have a DH or you don't. And the American League, I think, has been able to retain it because kind of grandfather in certain guys, and David Ortiz is probably right now the last real true DH.
Reddick strikes out.
Well, went for a pitch down out of the strike zone, curveball that been blocked by Castro, no contact by Reddick.
But Ray, you just look at the teams in the American League. New York, I mean, maybe somebody like Teixeira down the road, maybe, but I don't know that they have a DH type. Toronto, Baltimore, no.
Yeah, because Chris Davis is playing first.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Tampa Bay does it.
Right.
And again, we're talking about the veteran guy who just can't play a position anymore in the mold of a David Ortiz. Detroit, Kansas City. Kansas City has Billy Butler, but Butler could play first. Chili Davis was the prototype DH. We saw the Indians. They don't have one. White Sox, Adam Dunn.
Yeah. I mean, well, what they're doing, they have 3 first basemen.
Yeah.
So Konerko, Abreu, or Dunn, one would play first, one would DH.
Yeah.
So for Robin Ventura, he rotates those guys. But still, I mean, all 3 could play first base. Just a matter of you only have one at the bag.
And Rangers, Angels, Mariners, Astros. None of those teams really have that type. Pujols still plays an okay first base. 2-1 to Jaso.
Remember, Orlando Cepeda came to the American League DH because the legs wouldn't allow him to play in the field. I think Willie McCovey, when he came to the A's from the Giants, DH, but you know those back in the past when DH was first implemented in Major League Baseball was '73 and kind of changed everything.
The days of Rico Cardi are past. Rico was the prototype.
Oh,
DH.
Rico
Couldn't run.
Every time Rico swung, you could hear him throughout all of the empty Cleveland Municipal Stadium, and he would yell.
Rico Cardi.
Every pitch. Come on, Rico, you're going to the plate 600 times. Not everybody. He could hit. The Braves, he could hit.
Oh man. Didn't he play with his wallet in his back pocket?
Well, yeah, you got to protect the money.
There's a ball. So Jaso is aboard. 2 on, 1 out.
See, Mike Paul always told the story about Campy Campaneris because Mike left-handed pitcher, and Campy had something in his back pocket that jingled, either chain, money, or something. And every time he'd get on first base, Mike would throw over, and when he decided to throw the plate, he'd that ching, 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 ching. He's running because he could hear the whatever in the pocket bouncing around, and he'd take off.
Oh, that's funny.
And knew he had no chance to throw him out.
Brent Strom comes in. We've had a few of these meetings in this series, and Brent Strom's going to make a lot of trips to the mound this year, I'm afraid.
And in Houston, as hot as it is, but they can close the roof, so it's not as hot. But in Arlington, Texas, Mike Maddox, that's a different story for him.
Yep. Now, if you're just joining us, we mentioned it a little bit ago. Next inning, the Rays going to go over and join the Houston Astros telecast for 1 inning, and we're going to be joined by the Astros color commentator, Jeff Blum. So we'll talk about the Astros with Jeff. It's not going to be easy watching you go over there, Ray.
Well, I'm not going to put on my Comcast Sportsnet California golf shirt. We're going to stay.
It's Easter, man.
Dapper for Easter, exactly. That's right.
Sogard takes a strike, 0-1. Sogard 179 with a couple of RBIs, so a little bit of a slow start for Eric Sogard. He's a good hitter. Things generally even out. Taps that one toward Krause at first. He's going to go to second and get the out there. So Jaso is retired on the bases. First and third, 2 outs.
Now batting center fielder, number 4, Coco Chris.
So top of the order, and Coco Chris will hit.
I guess that's called walk-up music. Everybody has walk-up music now.
I got a little headache brewing.
Talking to Chuck Morgan down in Arlington, Texas.
How's Chuck doing?
Chuck's doing great. We'll see him next week. But PA announcer for the Rangers, and he said it's okay for the walk-up music, but when guys call up every day when they go for 4 and they want to change it, that's not good.
Yeah, music's fault.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right. Music's fault.
Coco hit a little bloop fly ball down the right field line that Springer made a terrific play on. He dove coming in and over right near the line. One and 0 to Crisp with Callaspo at third and Sogard at first. Pitch is low, 2-0. White Sox are leading the Rangers 5-2. That game in the 6th inning. We'll keep an eye on that one. Texas sitting on a 5-game winning streak.
And a day game in Arlington to get on the plane to come to Oakland.
Yep.
Be here for tomorrow night's first of a 3-game series.
Tigers just beat the Angels 2-1. That game just went final.
Rick Porcello is the starting pitcher.
Yeah.
I think he is pitching well. Struck out Mike Trout first at bat for the 5th consecutive K for Mike Trout, which is hard to believe.
Yeah, so just make Trout mad as the Angels head off to Washington after their loss today.
Now see, there's your DH. Now your DH is gone now with them going to Washington. And when the Nationals come to Oakland, the Giants and what is the third team?
Mets.
The Mets will
come for the 2-game series.
Yep. They will. Those 3 teams will be able to use a player as a designated hitter and maybe give position player a rest.
This was called a strike, and it was pretty low.
Coco just kind of shakes his head, doesn't look back and show up the umpire, Andy Fletcher. Andy's already shown himself up by tumbling down the first baseline. We want to leave those markings there, the rollover marks, you know, at down the first base. We got the comb over with Reddick and the rollover by Fletcher.
So Coco takes inside, and the count is full. So now if the umpires had any humor and there was a game tomorrow, they would put the tape down on the right where he fell, which is not really very nice, but
I think Matt
seen it done a lot.
Matt Weiss is going to be happy. He does not have to clean the uniforms. He could just put them in their suitcases and let them go to the next destination and let the person there take care of the uniforms. Matt Weiss, of course, handles all the umpires' needs in the room there.
Yeah, pitch to Coco. He rips one to center. Fowler going back. Now he turns around, backpedaling. He makes the catch. Side retired. My partner's leaving me. I'm not happy about that, but he's going to be back soon. I hope so.
Hey fans, get ready for more from AAA. Wave your AAA card now, and you could win a truck organizer and an autographed A.J. Griffin baseball, courtesy of AAA. AAA members, show your
Astros, Jeff Blum, who has slid over. We appreciate it. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing great. Good to be here. Thanks for having me, too.
This is a homecoming for Jeff Blum because he went to Cal. He was born in Redwood City, correct?
Yes, I was.
And you said you spent quite a bit of time in the Bay Area.
Yeah, I did. Well, actually, when I was born in Redwood City, 3 years, moved down to Southern California, grew up there, but I signed with Cal Berkeley to be their shortstop, and was there from 92 to 94, and eventually lived there for about 3 years after.
All right, so you're not a full-fledged Bay Area guy, but you're close.
Yeah, no, I've still got ties. I've got family over there in San Mateo, and of course, you know, a lot of the guys that I went to school with, I still talk to them quite a bit. 1992 was a great year for me over at Cal because we had a chance to go to the College World Series. So a lot of those guys that I was with on that team, I still keep in touch with to this day.
So you were okay with the Astros moving to the AL West, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Knowing that you're going to come to the Bay Area 3 times?
Yeah, this is the perfect storm for me. Yeah, doing all the road games and spending some time on the West Coast.
And as you saw on the graphic, you were an Expo.
Yeah. Who?
The Expos.
Yeah, I still have to explain to my daughters to this day.
So you got to the big leagues with the Expos as well, right?
Yeah, drafted out of Cal in 1994 in the 7th round by the Montreal Expos, and eventually made it up with them in '99.
So I looked at your family in the media guide, and it says you have 4 girls, including triplets.
Yes.
So you're a busy man. Your wife's a busy woman.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, hopefully, I mean, if she's watching this, I'll get reamed for this. But, yeah, these road trips come at good times during the months, you know.
You're not supposed to say that, Jeff. You're not supposed to say that.
I know, but, you know, it's good. The girls they grew up around the game, so they understand it. They know what Daddy does. They're a little confused now that I'm in the booth because I'm not playing. But
how old are they?
The triplets will be 9 on May 3rd, and my oldest is 10.
So you got a special savings account for the weddings then, right?
Yeah, there's a reason I'm working still.
So let's talk about the Astros. Listen, we all know where they're at, what situation they're in. They've lost a lot of games, but how close do you think they are to really legitimately being I'm not even going to say a contending team. I'm not going to say a 90-win team. I'm going to say a team that's really headed in the right direction, because we've heard a lot about their minor league system.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's one thing to contend, but I think what they want to do as early as they can is compete. That's going to be tough to do in this American League West, but I think 2016 should be a good time, because they've got some pitchers down there in Fultonevich. Wojciechowski's on the DL. As soon as he comes off and starts pitching well, Mark Appel, as soon as he develops, and there's a shortstop, Carlos Correa, who we had a chance to see in spring training, who's got fantastic tools. Big kid, kind of a rangy Manny Machado type. That if he gets if he gets bigger and stronger, or if VR continues to play like he does, maybe moves to third base. But I think George Springer for right now is a nice little push for these Astro teammates, and I think it's a good push for the city of Houston to see a guy like Springer. All the hype he gets, but to come out here and watch him do what he did defensively in that first inning and the base hit, they need hope.
Sure.
In Houston.
So he's kind of the first guy of this group to get to the big leagues.
Yeah, we're hoping he's the guy that breaks the seal and opens it up for some of these guys that are developing and coming through the system that is so highly touted in Houston.
Now, you played for the Astros 2 different stints with them, so you know about the fan base. Do they have the patience, and are they being patient through this whole process?
I think they're being extremely patient. I enjoyed the 5 years that I got to play there. I came there even after the World Series when we beat them in 2005, and they were more than welcoming. They don't appreciate what happened that year, but they still took me back as a player and enjoyed being there.
They were okay with you, even though we know what you did. We'll show you that highlight later on. But
yeah, it was interesting. But I think it's a great sports city. I think it's underrated, but their patience is definitely being tested right now, and I think they expect a turnaround considering what's happened in the last couple of years with management and things like that.
So you were okay with what the Astros did last year. It was a little bit controversial, I guess. I mean, they really just went bare bones payroll, about as low as you could possibly go. Said, hey, yeah, we're dropping down to what, $22 million or whatever, because we're not going to win. But we may use this money in other spots when we do get good. So, and it was a little bit controversial. I think some people agreed with it. Other people didn't think it was such a good idea. Spend the money, you got it. But what did you think about that process?
Well, I think the controversy was justified. There was a lot going on, but in the same token, they're playing by the rules. This is part of the CBA that both players and owners agreed to, so they're staying within the parameters of what has been laid down. But I guarantee you there's a lot of people taking another look at that to see how it works. I know the New York Yankees probably weren't happy about writing them a revenue check and not seeing it put into the everyday roster. But I think the tide is turning a little bit, and I know Jim Crane is a guy who likes to win. He's a successful businessman, owns a franchise. He wants to go out there and win, and Jeff Luhnow already has a track record as a GM with the St. Louis Cardinals, and you see what he's done in that organization. I think, that expectation is being put on those guys, but that learning curve for the Houston Astros is going to be speeding up here pretty quick in the next couple of years, hopefully.
Well, I think you talk about well, pressure to win if you're a contending team. A's are a contending team. There's pressure in Texas, in Anaheim to win. But maybe it's a different kind of pressure for an organization like the Astros, because at some point you do have to win because you've gone through this process. You said, hey, this is how we're going to do it. We think it's going to work. And so there comes the pressure. It has to work. Otherwise, otherwise you look bad.
Well, you're explaining the process and why you're doing the process. So eventually there's going to come to a point where you're like, okay, is the process working?
Yeah.
And winning is obviously the cure of all evil. And I know that you look up and down the Astros minor league system, and they win. They had a successful minor league system with their winning percentage last year. So they're trying to create an atmosphere, I think, in the minor leagues with that core group of guys that's coming up winning, and eventually when they get here, they understand what it takes to win here.
So the guys that we see out on the field right now, Castro and Altuve and VR, a couple years from now when you guys hope that this thing starts to turn and they become a competitive team, who's going to be here? Is Dexter Fowler going to be here? Obviously, somebody like Springer's going to be here. But who are the guys that you think will be part of the core that we're seeing right now?
Well, I think the Altuve, the VR's up the middle. Dexter Fowler's got a 2-year contract, I believe, with an option at the end of it. So they picked him up to hang out in center field, I think, for a couple more years. George Springer, obviously, his situation, the reason he's here now is so they could extend his time in Houston. But there's also been rumors of Jason Castro maybe becoming trade bait to accrue more minor league talent, if not major league pitching talent, just because they've got a guy in the minor leagues named Max Stassi who they're pretty high on. They think
he's from the A's,
yeah. So he's a good defensive kid, putting up some pretty good offensive numbers. But if I had to guess right now, probably not as many as you think. Matt Dominguez has done a great job at third base, but with Carlos Correa in the next 2 or 3 years, does Dominguez become that guy that gets pushed out? But not as many, I think, as Houston Astro fans would expect.
Sure. Well, I know there's a big first baseman in your system named Jonathan Singleton. I have not seen him, but I've been told he's kind of a Ryan Howard look like. Big guy.
He is.
Lots of power. Is he the next one to get up here? Because I know he's having a great year in AAA in the early going.
He's having a great year, and if you look at who's playing first base for the Houston Astros, it makes you question how soon he could be up here. Chris Carter not getting it done. Mark Krause, probably not your everyday first baseman type, being an outfielder and a left-handed bat. I think he could be here sooner than later. Sure. I know he's putting up tremendous power numbers right now, 7 home runs on the season, hitting .343. But some still question his development and maybe his desire and his heart at this level.
Well, I mean, I can imagine how Astros fans feel about it. I mean, every team's fans feel the same way. They read about these kids, these prospects, but they've never seen them. Well, now you read about them for 2-3 years. You want to see them.
Yeah,
I want to see what they look like.
And
I want to see how do they swing, how do they run around. And
there's so much information out there, and you're hearing so much more about these guys in the minor leagues. And with the 24/7 news coverage, the websites that cover all these minor league guys, now there's, you can watch a minor league game now if you had an internet access. But there is so much you hear about these guys, and I think the expectation is to have those guys push through and make it to the big leagues and continue that success, but that doesn't happen all the time.
2-2 the count to one of the youngsters we're talking about, George Springer. And it's dropped by Donaldson and Springer, and maybe that case is Springer really runs well for a big guy, and maybe Donaldson rushed it just a little bit.
Yeah, guys that can run definitely put pressure on the defense. Having played short, second, third, and first, you know which guys can run, which guys can. You can sit back a little bit on a hop like this off of Springer's bat if he runs a little bit slower. But knowing how well he runs, Josh Donaldson's got to make the choice to come get it. Sometimes that creates a firm hand when you're going to make the grab.
And Springer was busting it down the line the whole time. So 2 on, 2 out for Mark Krause. That one bounces way out in front. So we said the last inning when we were telling everybody that you were coming over here, said that Alan Ashby, your partner, is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
Ever.
Is that true?
Absolutely. Yeah, on camera.
All right. How are they doing over there? We got to keep an eye on those guys. Catchers,
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Well, it's going to be all about catching over there.
What are the chances they're talking about the blocking the plate rule?
And how great.
How fun that's
How
been.
many managers are catchers? Reddick back, and Reddick in front of the wall. He's got it side retired. When we come back, we're going to take a look at the career of Jeff Blum with one very shining moment. We'll show it to you when we come back. Had home run in the 14th inning, but he did it for the White Sox against the Astros. How dare he? But the White Sox won Game 3 7-5. They swept the Astros, won their first World Series. So Jeff Blum has a World Series ring. So that had to be like an unbelievable moment. I mean,
that doesn't get old.
Can you explain what you're feeling? I mean, you run it. It was your first World Series at bat.
My only.
Your only World Series at bat.
I had waited 3 weeks for that at bat.
You hit 1,000 in the World Series.
Yeah. Words really can't explain it. It's just, we all grow up with fantasies of playing in the big leagues, let alone being in the World Series. But I remember being a kid in high school, and I had a chance to watch Kirk Gibson's home run in '88. And I turned to my younger brother, and I'm like, man, could you imagine being in the World Series and game-winning home run? And, lo and behold, in 2005, I do it against the team I played for and now work for.
Springer on the warning track. He has it. And that was a sweep by you guys. And you guys came back and had to win Game 2, right?
Yeah, we won both those games in less than 20. It was about 48 hours. We came back and had to play another game. And we didn't score the winning run in that Game 4 until the 8th inning of that game. So it was 0-0 for quite a while. And what people don't know is, yeah, we did sweep that series in 4 games, but we only won by a margin of 6 total runs in 4 games, which is pretty unbelievable. We had a big comeback win in Game 1 when Paul Konerko hit a grand slam against Chad Qualls, who's now in the bullpen for the Astros. So there were some pretty epic moments in that series.
So you see sweep and you think domination, but it was really a pretty competitive series, and you guys just got a couple big hits when you needed to.
Well, it's funny that we win that Game 4, and obviously we go on the field and we celebrate, and everybody's pretty elated, and we bring the trophy on the field. Champagne's going everywhere. I guarantee you, about 15 minutes after that, we all sat in our chairs and looked at each other, and we were just exhausted because of all the emotion and hard work that went into that season, and to finish like that.
More action for Springer, and he's got it. So this is the last out of that World Series. Game 4, it was a nice play by
Juan Uribe. Yeah, Uribe's had some effects on postseasons here in recent days, too. But, yeah, what a great time. It was a little tough. Playing with those guys, I was only 2 years removed from being on that roster, so I knew a lot of those guys, and it was kind of funny. I hit, well, not funny for, it was funny for me, not so much for them. I hit the home run. I'm running around. I had my head down because I didn't want to make eye contact with Biggio, Adam Everett, Morgan Ensberg, just because I was like, oh man, you almost feel bad in a way because you know how long Biggio and Bagwell have been playing trying to get to that point. But I always tell the Astro fans, the reason I hit that home run is because the year before they traded me to Tampa Bay.
That's what they
at
get,
the time,
right?
And that was a rough trade.
I was going to say, and the Rays weren't the Rays back then. Yeah.
Oh man, no, that 2004 for me was an extremely rough year. Got some good Lou Piniella stories out of that year.
You may have to tell us.
Well, I can tell a few. There's some that I really can't go much further with, but that was entertaining. Yeah, it's been a long, fun career, and I'm having a blast doing this.
Yeah, it's fun. Still at the ballpark.
Absolutely.
Could be worse. And Moss swings and misses. So a 3-up, 3-down inning for Brad Peacock. We're going to keep Jeff around for one more half inning. It's a 2-0 A's lead after 3.
The A's have partnered with GovX.com, the largest shopping website for active, guard,
the color analyst for the Astros. My partner Ray Fosse went over a couple booths. He's spending time with Alan Ashby. So we're talking about the World Series in Chicago. Now, you win a World Series anywhere, it's a big deal. It's Chicago where they hadn't won one in a long time. And then you hit a big home run. As this one's hit left field, Cespedes cannot find it. And when he does, it comes down right in his glove, right in front of the wall. So Chris Carter hit that one a mile high, and Cespedes grabs it. So, I mean, are you the toast of town in Chicago? I mean, really, do people know who you are? I mean, they must.
Yeah, I can go and get a table at a restaurant in Chicago pretty easily these days.
Chicago's great if you're.
It's easily one of the better cities. If you're going to win and you win in Chicago, that is a fantastic place to be. And I took particular joy in the fact that we beat the Cubs to winning the World Series. No offense to Cubs fans, but having played on the South Side and seeing how much attention the Cubs get in that city, to be able to beat them to the punch, so to speak, was pretty cool. But where I was staying over by Centennial Park in a high-rise apartment, go to the local Starbucks and get a coffee every morning, and same routine every day. I did it for about a week on a homestand. Go to the World Series, win the World Series, come back. I didn't have to order that coffee was waiting for me when I got back. So things did change a little bit after winning that World Series.
So you could sit in the Starbucks and not be bothered until you hit the home run. Fly ball toward Reddick. LJ Hose is retired. So 2 outs. Quick question as we're going to let you go. this instant replay thing, it's a big conversation piece. We talk about it a lot. I'm sure you guys do as well. Yep. What do you think?
I think it's good, but I agree with the fact that it's going to take a lot of work to iron out some of the kinks. We had issues early on in a trip to Toronto with I think it's 7.13 or something like that, where the catcher sets up before he has the ball, giving the base runner a lane to slide. And stuff like that. But you watched the other day, the Red Sox game, a ball down the line goes foul, replay says it's foul, yet it's not called foul. So I don't know exactly what's going on. I worry about the pace of the game and some fans becoming disinterested with the pace. But, it's all about the integrity of the game. And I grew up on the fact that the integrity of the game was the fact that human beings were making the plays and making the calls. So you just kind of relied on them. But I understand in this day and age where everything's being looked at a little bit more closely why they made that move to try and get every call right. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of it yet, to be honest with you.
And it sounds like there will be maybe some in-season tweaks. We'll find out, and that would be interesting.
Yeah, to say the least. You go down and you talk to managers for both teams and trying to get as much information as you can out of those guys and their understanding of what's going on, because we're not privy to the same information they are. And you get different answers on the same question from guys.
That one's hit well to right field by Marwin Gonzalez, and that one's gone. So Marwin Gonzalez homers, and the Astros are on the board.
How about that for Marwin? You're going to kick me out of this booth, aren't you?
We'll give you one run. We can't give you any more, though. So first home run of the year for Marwin Gonzalez. Let's check where the pitch was.
Now batting, number 6.
Up and out over the plate. Allowed Marwin to get extended a little bit. I'm impressed with Jesse Chavez, though. I liked him coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah, he's pitched extremely well, and he's got one of those rubber arms. Well, the A's are lucky with pitching depth. It's good to have it. You don't want to use it coming out of spring training, but in this case, he didn't have much of a choice.
Yeah, it's also interesting how it could work out sometimes. It's nice that you have a stopgap like Jesse Chavez to allow some of those guys that maybe come back in the middle of the season and give those guys a little bit of a boost.
That's right.
Going into those playoff runs that the Oakland A's are always on, it seems like.
So 1-2 to Jonathan Villar.
And you really hope that when the Astros are playing in the West and playing against teams like Oakland, that they respect what the A's have done, what they're doing, and how they play the game. Because I think there's a lot to learn for a lot of young kids in that Astro dugout by watching what some of these other teams are doing. The Texas Rangers and how they go about their business, but really the way the Oakland A's have won without one of those major payrolls.
Yeah. 2-2 the count to Villar. He slaps it foul. Villar waits, and the pitch is outside. So now 3-2. So a home run by Marwin Gonzalez has given the Astros the lead. And that'll do it for the Astros. They do get the run on the Gonzalez home run. Jeff Blum, thanks for joining us. Great talking to you. Good luck the rest of the year, all right?
Good to be here. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Jeff Blum has been our guest, the Astros color man on TV. And we'll be back. 2-1 A's lead.
It's 16th grandchild coming up by the end of the
16th, so you shortchanged him a couple.
Well, I knew it was in the mid-teens, but clarified it was 16. But
16.
Now, you know what we said before I went over there. Nobody nicer. He is such a nice guy.
He is a good man.
And we were together way back when in Cleveland, and just a nice gentleman. And he caught me because Donaldson made the error, and I said, unfortunately. He says, no, you're on the Astros telecast. This is fortunately.
Fortunately.
I said, the unfortunate thing, it's a 9th consecutive game with an error. That's the unfortunate thing. But no, Alan Ashby, nobody better. He's a nice man.
So 3-0 now to Yoenis Cespedes, followed by Callaspo and Reddick, and we had a nice chat with Jeff Blum. Talked a lot about the future of the Astros.
Wasn't he big in the 05 World Series?
Yeah, he hit the home run for the White Sox in Game 3 in extra innings. So Cespedes with a leadoff walk here in the 4th.
If you're looking for a memorable experience, and this is a good one, at an A's game, groups of 20 guests are able to watch batting practice from center field on the field for select games. In addition, each member of your group will receive an A's logo glove to commemorate the experience. After BP, your group will enjoy a catered suite to watch the game. For information, call 510-638-GO-A's or visit athletics.com/centerfield. As I mentioned, started that last year, very well accepted, and people got a chance. And because they've opened it up early anyway for batting practice with Friday nights for Cespedes, but that is great to get a glove and go out and try to catch a ball. And if you can, you might get a contract.
Never know. Callaspo loops one foul.
And Jesse Chavez back in the same type of game he's had in his previous starts, except this time he does have the lead. It's approached the 5th inning for him. But for him to give up a home run, Casimir yesterday his first, and today the first for Chavez, and to walk 2 in a game, just maybe a game that he's going to have to look at maybe not having his best stuff, but getting through enough to try to win.
Well, I mean, if you're a starting pitcher, that's going to be at least half of your starts, probably, right?
Absolutely. That's a great point, because from a pitcher, 35 starts, it would be a great season, regular season. And for a position player to feel good when you come out from a position player, maybe 10% of the game, 20% max, without any bumps and bruises, aches or pains. And for a pitcher, every 5th day you just hope when you go to the bullpen that it feels good.
So 1-2 to Callaspo with Reddick to follow. A's with 2 in the bottom of the 1st on a Donaldson home run. The Astros in the top of the 4th. The solo home run by Marwin Gonzalez. So Brad Peacock wobbly the first couple innings, trying to settle in here. And that one's hit to right center. Fowler over, and Fowler has it, and Callaspo is retired for out number 1.
One of the things Bob Melvin has told his players, and Cespedes did exactly what Bob Melvin had talked about, and that is with a fly ball, run down the line, and of course less than 2 outs. You could keep running with 2 outs, but less than 2 outs, watch the outfielder with a transfer until they get that rule modified, corrected, whatever. But with Fowler catching the ball, Cespedes ran down, but he was looking back the outfield as he made the transfer instead of running with his head down back to first base.
Here's Reddick. Swings and misses. Remember on Friday night, had a foul ball go down the left field line.
Yeah.
Fan made a nice play, and then
his
just a
contract
couple
with
of
US
pitches
Steel,
later,
right?
yeah. And then the next guy, another foul ball down there, and a gentleman sitting right on the railing. Good A's fan. He just missed it. He clanked it. Well, that gentleman is sitting down there again today, and I think he's got a little beef with us. I don't know. But this is the sign that he brought today. Hey, Fosse and Kuiper, challenge Friday's call replay shows interference. So he's not saying he caught it. He's saying he was interfered with.
But how about this? AKA hands of steel. So he knows he clanked it. He knows he's got a contract with U.S. Steel.
So
is this him right here?
You know what we're going to go with? It's him right there.
Right here. Oh, the big A's fan.
Call stands. That's what we're going to go with. There's no interference.
That's right.
So he's being a good sport about it.
Well, he's got a T-shirt.
His phone's going to ring here within the next 20 seconds. I can tell you that right now. So we are disallowing the interference. We're not buying that at all.
That's right. Inconclusive.
If your nickname is Hands of Steel, there's no such thing as interference.
That's true. And he wrote it, and we saw it.
That's right.
A lot of people saw it. AKA Hands of Steel.
But he had his sign up a couple innings ago, and he was looking up here. We were waving at him, and he saw us, and he waved back. So we're on his radar. Quick throw. Cespedes gets back. So 0-2 to Reddick, who struck out in the second inning. Another throw to first. Cespedes has been thrown out on his one steal attempt so far this year.
Well, the shortstop, if there's a steal attempt, shortstop be the one covering.
Rolled toward Altuve. He spins, throws to second, and a nice play by VR, who had a backhand the ball. Throw was a little bit low. So 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth.
Well, unfortunately, Josh Reddick cooked an outside off-speed pitch and tried to pull it in. He talked yesterday about using the whole field, and this time taking a pitch that with the shift he had a chance to hit it to left field, but instead got out in front and pulled it and avoided the double play.
They have not made an error, either of them. And they are both very good. Here's Jaso. Mini shift on with VR playing right behind second base. That's what we're going to call it, the mini shift. Fastball 92 miles an hour right on the outside corner. 1-1 the count.
It seems with the Astros, every hitter you'll say some sort of shift.
Yeah. I think we're going to say it a lot now when we announce a game.
Wow. They're a bunch. You got Hose in the outfield playing very close to the left field line, and the infield shifted to the right side.
Tried an off-speed pitch, and it stays outside. The White Sox are beating up on the Rangers today. It's 9-2 White Sox in the 7th inning. Jaso swings and misses. So now 2-2 the count.
Just a good four-seam fastball right over the top, and I think it's always surprising at times when a four-seam fastball is thrown, especially in a fastball count. The hitter just does not make contact, and that is the best type of pitch to hit. Two-seam has movement, four-seam is straight.
Swing and a miss. So 77 miles per hour, and strikeout number 3 for Peacock. A leadoff walk. The A's do nothing with it. It's 2-1 after 4. CSNCA fan photo. Put your name in downtown. Put that down. You get a chance to be shown in an upcoming game telecast. It's brought to you by AT&T. Today's fan photo, Trisha Howe from Hayward. 4 generations of the Morales Howe families from Hayward and Brentwood enjoying the ball game. We appreciate them sending in their photo. Here at the HOU at OAK Coliseum, it's the top of the 5th inning. It's a 2-1 lead. It's top of the order for the Astros. Altuve, Fowler, and Castro. Jesse Chavez with 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. He's allowed 4 hits. And he's about to throw pitch number 70.
Jesse might just be getting better. And even though he gave up a home run last inning to Gonzalez, 2-strike pitch, and he starts throwing the pitches to the back door away like that. That's perfect.
Altuve, who does not take swings like that very often. He strikes out. Banjo Man right below us. So it's good to hear and see Banjo Man.
Number 21.
He's right below us.
Fowler.
Yeah.
Just like that, he's
that was
gone.
quick.
Yeah, for Chavez, we mentioned with the slider that he can throw away from the right-handers. He can throw the sinker away from lefties like that one, but also the back door 2-seam fastball. So he's got a number of pitches he can use, and a lot of times a pitcher might struggle early, but might figure it out also. And for Jesse Chavez, who knows himself, of course, better than anybody, he knows what he has to do, and probably a little bit upset that he gave up a home run.
Jumps ahead of Fowler 0-2. Fowler a ground out and a walk so far today. So home runs today, 1 by each team. The only runs on the board. So it's popped up. See if Jaso has a play. He will not.
You know, Hawks probably down in Arlington, Texas. That put it on the board. Might
He's
be
having a good
called quite
day.
bit. Any home runs in Arlington, B.I.? Because if the White Sox hit some home runs, you know, the Hawk.
I think the Hawk has the windows closed. It's kind of hot and windy. He probably doesn't like that very much. Who does?
We'll find out.
We will find out. Week from tomorrow, the A's will be in Arlington for the first time. Couple of home runs in that game, we're told.
Well, Hawk might have lost his voice. Put it on the board.
3 home runs by the White Sox. Fowler almost chased. So 3-2 with Castro waiting in the on-deck circle. Which is high, and he walked him. So that's the third walk by Jesse Chavez.
2 walks in his first start, now in his next 2, and now 3 today. So for a pitcher who has the strike zone pretty much down pat, as we had talked earlier, not quite working. And he's starting to push the ball a little bit, and that's in the danger zone when you get under it and push it. Start elevating the pitches.
Castro with a walk and a strikeout so far today. And there's a fastball just a bit outside, I guess. So there's the first 3 starts and the total of 2 walks with 3 today. Fowler's got good speed, so we'll have to keep an eye on him. He does not have a stolen base attempt this year, but he does run well.
I think Chavez is trying to get his nice rhythm, and to the point that he did not look at Fowler, who had jumped off the bag at first. And you have to pay attention, because the Astros will run, as we've seen from the first game.
Fowler had 19 steals last year with the Rockies, and they're struggling to score runs. Sometimes you see managers try a few different things. Good pitch there, and the count is 1-1. Make it 1-2.
I think from the Astros standpoint, Bo Porter knows that sure they'll hit some home runs, but they need to manufacture runs, and if they have the speed, try to get in a scoring position, you're going to see them do it. Fowler's getting a bigger lead at first.
Inching off, not running. It just fouled back. The Astros are last in the league in average, runs, hits, doubles, slugging, and on base percentage, and they have struck out more than any other team in the American League. So all that is a bad recipe. They've scored 51 runs in 18 games coming into today. Swing and a miss. Castro strikes out. 4 strikeouts now for Jesse Chavez.
This time Castro went upstairs to try to catch up to the high fastball, and whether intentional or not, we do not know, but for Jesse Chavez, pitched up in the zone and got the strikeout. That's the pitch that I think Sean Doolittle would love to be able to perfect and throw anytime he wanted to, and he'd never be hit.
Here's Springer, who has singled, and he has reached on an error.
Hitters are good enough if they just let the pitcher provide the power, and they just want to make contact, and it's a low fastball. Something low is much easier for that to happen.
So Springer 4 for 11 in this series. Got his first career extra base hit yesterday. He hit a double high off the wall down the right field line. Did not miss a home run by very much.
And if a young hitter can show opposite field power, and eventually he's going to pull pitches, that means he's not opening up too much if he's hitting the ball to the opposite field effectively.
It's always interesting to see how a young hitter like this, who obviously has a chance to be very good, see how they're doing if they're playing every day. A couple months in, when pitchers got a little scouting report on them.
It happens fast.
Yeah. Good swing there, fouls it back. Would you say that pitchers, when they face young hitters, they'll say, all right, the first thing you want to find out, can he hit a fastball? And then you work off that.
Right. Absolutely. And most hitters will prove they can't hit the fastball. And that's when they have to adjust, because the pitchers adjust at that point to make sure they don't give them a fastball to hit.
1-2 pitch with the runner going, swing and a miss. So Jesse Chavez walks 1 but strikes out 3. Bottom of the 5th coming up. It'll be Sogard, Crispin, Lowry. 2-1 the A's lead.
Fans, it's time for the Sports Clip Big Cut Can. Stand up and show us your
Tuesdays. Park for free at select home games and get a ticket to the game for only $4 while supplies last. To act on this special discount, purchase online only, and I emphasize online only, at athletics.com/Tuesday and use promo code Chevy, CHEVY. Free parking Tuesdays driven by Chevrolet.
So Sogard to lead it off here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Sogard reached on a fielder's choice his first at bat. He lines this one into the glove of Villar for out number 1. So Sogard not waiting around. Hit it hard, but he's 0 for 2.
Peacock has shown the last couple of innings that he is around the strike zone, around the plate. Did walk Cespedes on 4 pitches, but I think if you struggle, your batting average is not where you want it to be, and you look for a pitch and it's getting, you're not going to wait around.
Line out.
That's it. Take it. Start feeling good about yourself.
First pitch to Coco is high. Couple of fly ball outs for Coco. One a diving catch by Springer. His first at bat. So Coco right now he's kind of starting against right-handers, and Melvin being careful with him when he bats right-handed. Can't imagine it'll be too long before Coco's in there on a regular basis again. One and two, big shift toward left center, and that one way in the dirt. Coco homered on Friday night.
1 of 4 hit by the Athletics, and this one just made it over the jagged edge. Cummins gave it up, couldn't believe it, but Coco his second. His first was the walk-off, and appropriately he was the PIOR on yesterday's game.
Yep.
As Reddick usually is the one that's given him. He had a chance to take it yesterday.
So 2-2 the count. 71 pitches for Brad Peacock so far. And that one's hit hard into the glove of Altuve, who ranges to his right.
Now batting, shortstop.
So a couple of lineouts.
Lowry.
I think it's Coco going back to the dugout. He lofted the ball. Great play by Springer in the first inning. Hits the ball hard there. You think from a hitter standpoint that an everyday player 550, 600 times goes to plate. You know, he's a superstar if he gets 200 hits. You know, 333. But think how many times he goes back to the dugout upset.
Yep.
And then has to go home and think about, you know, and then come back the next day.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you see players after games, whether they win or lose, and for the most part, they're the same. And you hope people don't see that and say, well, they don't care. It's like, well, you know what? They care a lot, but you got to let it go. Otherwise, it'll drive you crazy.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I mean, it would drive you absolutely crazy.
You think playing a day game today and then a night game tomorrow, and you hit the ball hard, make it out, or you struggle, go 0 for 4, whatever, and you think about it until tomorrow night's game, it's going to affect you tonight, affect you all day tomorrow,
sure,
and maybe affect you playing tomorrow night when the Rangers come into town. So it's a great balancing act for a player not to get too high, too low, kind of stay in the middle, because you are going to have your ups and downs when you're playing every day. Pitchers, 34, 35 starts. It's tough on them because they have 4 days in between to think about it. At least from a position player standpoint, you get the next day to come out and try to redeem yourself.
Lowry gets the 2-out walk. I mean, think how hard it is for a player. Josh Reddick, for example.
Oh, yeah.
He has a great spring, and then he starts the season, what, 4 for 40 or something like that. Well, you know how hard it is not to throw your helmet after you make it out?
Yeah, exactly. I heard today with the Tigers, Alex Avila struck out something like 19 times and 39 at plate appearances.
And he's a good hitter.
Yeah, he's a great hitter. But they want him catching, but still you think about your offense. But that's why the game is so tough, so hard to play, because hitting a baseball is probably the hardest.
Yep.
And if you struggle, if you really take it hard on yourself, make it hard on yourself, it's going to affect you from day to day to day.
And I think, and I compare it to other sports. I think other sports, if you do everything right, if you're a basketball player and your form is right and your release is good, you're probably going to make the shot.
Exactly.
But in baseball, you can do everything right as a hitter, and it goes into somebody's glove. And this one down the line, Hose gets to it. Donaldson's going to try for two. He's going to have to hurry, and he gets in there with a head-first slide. So Lowry to third, Donaldson to second with 2 outs.
And simply because Hose has positioned everybody in the same spot, he cut the ball off because, remember, the A's won a game with a similar situation, 2 outs. Josh Donaldson with that double down the line. And Lowry scored. But Hose gets the ball so quickly because he positioned there that the ball doesn't go down in the corner. If the ball goes down the corner, it rattles around. Lowry could probably be sent by Mike Gallego. I think it was against the Angels. I don't think it was, but Lowry got on first and Donaldson hit the double because Shuck was so far off the line, exact opposite of where Hose plays. And the third baseman Freese was off the line, allowing the ball to get past him close to the bag. But actually where Hose is positioned, saved a run.
So Moss steps in looking for a 2-out hit. He's trying to extend their 2-1 lead. First pitch is, boy, that looked like it was right there, but called the ball.
Throw offline, but Donaldson going for 2 and making it. You know, if you're in this situation with second and third, if you are excellent at bunting, this is the time to do it, even with 2 outs. Because if you get a ball down in fair territory, it's going to be a base hit.
It's a hit, yeah.
And you're going to score a run. Because they are assuming Brandon Moss is going to swing the bat, and more than likely he will with 2 strikes. It's our 2 outs. He's not going to do anything differently. As the veteran Jerome Williams gets loose with his pink glove in honor of his late mother. But you know, this is the perfect time because only the third baseman is anywhere close to the left side of the infield.
Moss rolls it foul, so the count now 1-2.
By the way, if Moss did do that, Bo Porter wouldn't say anything.
No, I don't think.
I don't think anybody would say anything. Different circumstances, but. And plus, you have a right-handed pitcher who typically will fall off towards the first base side, so even more. I mean, he is the only one who could even think about fielding a bunt. Brandon Moss would not be doing it, especially now with 2 strikes.
Swing and a miss. Moss swung at a pitch in the dirt, so Peacock gets out of it. A's strand runners at second and third. 6th inning coming up, but it'll be Krause, Carter, and Hose. 2-1 Athletics.
Hey fans, welcome to Mathletics Trivia. I'm here with 9-year-old Matt from Baltimore. How's your Easter Sunday?
Sports service is now available. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit athletics.com for details.
Busy day for everybody today. Monster corn dogs are being made and eaten, I'm sure. Kraus, Carter, and Hose to hit here in the top of the 6th inning. So 88 pitches for Jesse Chavez. And it's 2-0 there. Nobody's warming up in the A's bullpen, but there's a lot of stretching going on. So they're going to get ready.
Well, the important thing for relief pitchers to have a role. And the role usually is a certain time that you start to think about, okay, maybe I'm going to be called on. If you have that role where you're used early, as Jesse Chavez was before he became a starter, if the phone didn't ring by the 5th inning, he'd shut it down.
That's true.
Figure he's done.
And you had to be ready to go when you walked out to the bullpen.
Yeah. But now he's in the rotation. It's totally different for him. And Drew Pomeranz thought it was interesting. He pitched back-to-back games in Anaheim, did a great job, especially in the Tuesday game. But he said, if the starters do well, I don't pitch. And that's good, because that means the pitchers and starters are pitching the way they're supposed to. Jesse Chavez has settled down. 4 consecutive, actually 4 strikeouts the last 4 outs. Make it 5 now after Villar struck out in the 4th inning. But a walk to Fowler, and that's it. The rest of them are strikeouts.
Here's Carter, who has hit a couple of fly balls to left field, and he takes a first pitch strike.
How did the one to left field not go out? I think it was going to bring rain. It was up so high and so long in the air, and fortunately it did come down and into the glove of Cespedes.
Now Carter is behind in the count, 0-2. Chris Carter is struggling. He's hitting 127 with no home runs and 2 RBIs. Pops that one foul, or right back to the screen, I should say. So the count remains 0-2 with Hose in the on-deck circle.
Part of the problem with Chris Carter, if you're facing him, he is one powerful swing away from getting his first of a lot of things.
And it's pretty simple with Chris Carter, I think, Ray. He's got to hit home runs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, if he doesn't, you know, he's not a real good defensive player. He's not a speed guy. He's just got to hit the ball at the ballpark, and he's not doing that right now. He did last year, 29 home runs.
And he just took a pitch that probably could have been called a strike, but it's called a ball by Andy Fletcher.
And he got a breaking ball to hit there, and he popped it up. Cespedes shading his eyes. He's got it, and that is out number 2. So Jesse Chavez settling in this afternoon. 1 earned run or less in first 3 starts in Oakland A's history.
Number 28.
Got Keogh on there a couple times. And then Jesse Chavez. Tim Hudson on there. Gio. So 1 earned run or less. And so far today in his 4th start, he's allowed 1 earned run.
And a lot of credit to Jesse Chavez as the bullpen does start to get active. But for Jesse to have figured out something, because I think he'd readily admit that he did not have his best stuff early, but after the home run to Gonzalez and really in between the home run and 1 walk, everything else has been great.
So Otero close to being ready in the bullpen. Fouled straight back. Good swing by Hose. So pretty consistent for Jesse Chavez.
Is that 1-2 or 2-2 now?
The count? I don't know. Who knows? Let's go 2-2. And that is a fair ball, backhanded behind the bag, gunned across by Donaldson, side retired. 5 in a row retired by Jesse Chavez. Bottom of the 6th coming up. 2-1 A's.
Here's to all the great times at the Coliseum. Here's to the beer that has always been there.
First inning, in his 4th, that line drive home run on the 3-1 fastball. And the A's an early 2-0 lead. And then Arwin Gonzalez, who started today, had 0 zeros all the way across, but a base hit and a home run made it a 2-1 game. That's where we stand now, as the 2 home runs. And Jesse Chavez getting the congrats, because it looks like the A's will go to the bullpen, as the Astros are doing in this half inning.
And when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. The Astros indeed go to the bullpen. Jerome Williams, the veteran, comes in. Our first look at him in this series. We've seen him plenty the last couple of years with the Angels. Signed a 1-year, $2.1 million contract with the Astros. So they needed veteran swingman, and that's certainly what Williams is. He could start if need be. First pitch to Cespedes is a bit high. Cespedes, Callaspo, and Reddick. So Peacock goes 5 innings. A couple of earned runs with 3 walks and 4 strikeouts. Cespedes has hit into a double play, and he has walked. He skies this one to right center. Fowler shading his eyes, but it's going to be the right fielder, Springer, who comes over, and Springer has it. Dexter Fowler, he kind of glides out there, and you're not quite sure if he sees it or if he's really going after it.
I think he deferred to Springer that time. I don't think he
saw that completely. The question of where are the glasses, Ray? Are they
shading the logo on his cap? I don't think the logo needs any help.
There's just not an explanation that's going to be good enough for me on that one. This. I mean, you could make the point, Ray, at daytime here at the Coliseum. This is no question one of the toughest sun outfields in all of baseball.
Yeah, wear them all the time.
Put them on.
Yeah. I mean, at least look good.
Looks good.
Yeah.
May help you out. Callaspo takes inside.
So rare, and we've talked about it before, to see the old traditional flip down sunglasses.
See, Ricky leaves them on all the time.
See, Ricky put those shades on when he stole the record-breaking base of third.
You think there was a contractual obligation there?
Well, I think everybody in the park knew if Ricky got his sunglasses, Ricky was going to steal third. And Ricky stole third.
Get it over with. High to right center. More action for Springer. And Fowler gets close to the rookie and then backs off right at the end.
Well, we saw Almonte with the Mariners run all the way from center field to right field in front of Logan Morrison. And at least Fowler said, you say you got it, you can have it. And he was yelling loudly. And still, the sun probably the worst in left field this time of the day. As the day gets longer towards what would be a night game, the sun in right field is the hardest. But I guess for Springer, with the sunglasses on the top of his cap, he's okay with the sun not really bearing down on him.
So 2 outs for Reddick, who has struck out and reached on a fielder's choice. And the first pitch is driven toward left center field. That's hit well. Nobody's going to get this one, and it's off the top of the wall. Fowler hustles it back in. Reddick has a 2-out double. Now that's a good stroke right there.
That is a tremendous stroke. And for him to do this against Williams, two-seamer down and away, and he went with it perfectly. And I think with the shift, they expect him to roll over. And the more he does this, the more they'll play him straight up, and the more hits he'll start getting to the right side, because they will not be shifting 3 to the right side. It's just a swing that he just delayed. The ball kept carrying, and you see the outfielders just kind of play it off the wall, knowing they have no chance to get to it. Then it's a great swing.
So here's Jaso looking for a 2-out hit. Jaso has walked and struck out. First pitch is a fastball outside. Jaso hitting in the 8th spot today. And now it's a even count at 1-1. Jim Johnson starts to throw now. Otero was up last half inning. Double look by Williams. Jaso thought about taking a rip at it. That Rangers game is now in the 9th inning. White Sox 9, Texas 2. Left field, Hose shading his eyes. He's near the line.
Playing right there, wasn't he?
He was. Barely had to move. So Reddick doubles. He is stranded, and we're on to the 7th. Still 2-1, A's lead.
And it's time for the Sox Hall of Fame race, featuring A's Hall of Famers Raleigh Fingers, Mickey Henderson,
On Comcast Sportsnet, California coverage begins tonight at 6:30 with Sharks pregame live. Should be a good one. Complete Sharks coverage every night on Sportsnet Central and CSNCalifornia.com. So the Sharks and the LA Kings, game 2 tonight down in San Jose. And then games 3 and 4 Tuesday and Thursday at the Staples Center. There you go. So Sharks with a 1-0 lead. The youngster's going to watch the A's get a victory and then head home and get himself ready for the Sharks game. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. Jim Johnson takes over here in the 7th inning. He'll face Gonzalez, VR, and then the top of the order, Altuve. And Craig Gentry comes in the game in left field. So Cespedes out of the game. This is him jogging off after his fly ball to right field, and does not look like he's moving completely 100%.
And I think there might have been some question whether he would even play at all today. But good to see that happen.
So he's got a little foot heel issue that he's dealing with. Another great performance by Jesse Chavez. Just 1 run. It was a home run by this guy Gonzalez in 6 innings and 103 pitches.
So that list that we showed of 1 run or less in 3
a little smaller, probably.
He's top of the list. Boy, he just finished so strongly, unbelievable. After the home run, he just gave up a walk, and that was it. Struck out 5 after the home run.
That one is a fair ball. Donaldson throws it across, and Gonzalez is out. That ball had all kinds of English on it.
How did the location of the pitch to the hitter end up being hit to third base?
That's a good
amazing.
question.
Talk about an inside cue shot. I mean, that ball, Donaldson had to be thinking, I'm here to protect against a bunt. Watch where this pitch is. It's inside. That was swung hard, trying to pull it, and he hit it off the end of the bat. And the bat boy giving the bat, and he'll take the chalk like the cue stick and cue up the end of it.
When you hit one off the end of the bat, it will do some weird stuff.
It did.
And that one was right off the end.
And that takes a lot of concentration for Donaldson to make the play simply because it was cued.
Here's VR, the 9th place hitter. Ground out and a strikeout for VR. Donaldson again. Picks it. 2 outs. Well, when you're playing where Donaldson's playing, up close, it is the hot corner.
You're taking another bunt away. Typically left-handed hitters are third baseman will play shallow, but what great hands by Josh Donaldson. Watch this. Line drive and scoop, backhand, put his foot down maybe for a kick save if he didn't catch it, and that's some defensive third baseman. Now he has to play shallow for Altuve, who also might bunt, but he's from the right side.
The first pitch to Altuve is outside. So 7 consecutive Astros hitters have been retired. Now 2-0 to Altuve. Do not want to put him on base. He's a stolen base threat. Well, him getting thrown out trying to steal third. How important is that play? And it happened in the very first inning.
GovX Sunday, and Sean Doolittle, who's a big proponent of GovX and military, is on the mound, getting loose in the bullpen. So under the bullpen, our closer by committee with Sean Doolittle up, it would look like Gregerson would be the man who would probably at least hopefully get the 9th inning based on the way it looks now. Get there with the lead.
Altuve takes a walk. So it is a 2-out base runner. So 4 walks issued by A's pitchers so far in the game. And here's Dexter Fowler, who's a switch hitter.
Dexter Fowler.
Fowler is 0 for 1 today with 2 walks. He's 2 for 9 in the series. Runner goes, pitches way inside, and Jaso really had no chance. He had his hands full just trying to catch it. So Altuve gets his 8th stolen base.
And you're right, no surprise, whether 2 outs or not, that Altuve was going to be running. And with the pitch and the location, I mean, it's almost great that Jaso caught the ball, because if he got past him, Altuve might have gone to third, or at least attempted.
So Altuve now 8 for 8, make it 8 for 9 in stolen base attempts. Tied for most in the American League in the early going. Fowler taps one back to Johnson. He knocks it down, hustles after it, and he'll have to hold on to it. So Johnson got a pretty good glove on it. Just could not completely grab it, and then it rolled quite a ways away from him, and Bob Melvin pops out of the dugout.
Well, the best thing Johnson did is not throw. Once he knocked the ball down, and with the speed of Fowler, and just in general with the foul territory, you don't want to try to rush a throw. And Johnson decided not to throw the ball, which probably was the best thing.
So first and third, and it'll be Doolittle against Castro. Good matchup there. So the A's hanging on to a 2-1 lead.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen.
The 0-calorie soda, and supported in part by Nelson Staffing, Comerica Bank, and State Roofing Systems of San Leandro. Since the inaugural event in 1999, the A's have donated more than $1.3 million to breast cancer. Purchase a special $28 ticket, and $5 will go directly to the American Cancer Society.
Sean Doolittle might have been thinking about starting the 8th inning, but now comes in on the 7th with a tying run at third.
And Castro, the hitter, a walk and 2 strikeouts. And the first pitch is right there for a strike to Jason Castro. First appearance in this series for Doolittle on the season. It's his 9th appearance. Does not have a record. No walks, 9 strikeouts in 8 2/3 innings.
Boy, here's a dangerous situation for the A's, because Donaldson way off the line, Altuve down the line. And if there's ever a time not to throw to first base, this is it.
Yep, I was thinking the same thing, because Fowler's a good base runner. He's got a good lead, and well, you're right.
You're tempted, and maybe if all the throwovers are coming from the dugout, they'll see it also, because this is a play that Billy Martin loved to use. The runner coming down the line, you throw to first, he walks home. Because Altuve's not being held, and the runner off first, now with 2 strikes, would he try to draw a throw? And it would take Moss to throw to the plate if that happens.
And I'm telling you, Ray, Altuve's thinking about doing something crazy.
Something, yeah.
I mean, he is,
yeah.
When the pitch is thrown or when he starts his run, he's probably a third of the way to home plate.
He can get off, the old rule of thumb, get off as far as the third baseman's off the line. And look where Donaldson's playing. He's not paying any attention. And rightfully so with 2 outs. But it is scary with the aggressiveness of the 2 guys on the bases.
Runner goes from first, pitches high. And the A's do the smart thing and let Fowler into second base. So they will give Fowler his first stolen base. That's as good as you're going to get, folks.
Well, first pitch slider to Castro was a called strike, but since then fastball.
Inside, it almost hit Castro. So it's a full count with the rookie George Springer in the on deck circle.
Well, he turned away just barely in enough time.
Here we go, 3-2. And Castro lifts one to left field. Gentry's there. And that'll do it. So Doolittle does his thing, and the Astros strand to 7th inning stretch coming up. 2-1 A's. The lead over the Astros in the bottom of the 7th inning. So Sogard to lead it off, and then the top of the order, Crispin Lowry. Just looked up at the scoreboard, Ray, and that game in Arlington is still going on, and the White Sox have scored a whole bunch of runs in the top of the 9th inning. It's the White Sox 16 and the Rangers 2 in the 9th. So that game can't get over quick enough if you're the Rangers. You want to get on the plane and get the heck out of there.
You know, one of the things that happens in a game like that, and this is nothing negative against certain relievers, but once a game you get on the downside, a manager wants to save certain relievers, and they bring in other relievers, and then the game kind of gets out of whack. And it seems like that's what happened with the Rangers. It was a close game, 2-2, and all of a sudden 5-2, and then everything's opened up after that.
Sogard is 0 for 2 with a fielder's choice and a line drive to the shortstop. Inside, the Tigers beat the Angels today 2-1. Porcello over Santiago. A save for Joe Nathan.
That's a good save because that was a one-run save.
Yep. The Angels in that game made 4 errors. And I think they were like 3 of them were on one play.
Yeah, first inning, 3 on one play.
On a walk or some strange
weird
play. Yeah. So that could not have made Mike Soch terribly happy.
Especially if you only score 1 run in a game.
Exactly.
And you give up 1 and earn. It's 1-1 for a while. I don't know how the Tigers scored the second run.
Sogard, right center. Fowler dives off his glove, and Sogard's going to hustle into second with a double. Fowler covers a lot of ground, and he did there, and he actually got a pretty good glove on it. It just popped out.
And probably once he got there, the ball should have stayed in his glove, but Sogard battled, got the off-speed pitch with a 2-strike count, and ball kind of knuckled maybe a little bit towards Fowler, but right there looked like he had it, but closed the glove too soon. He actually had it hit off the edge of the glove, did not get into the pocket. Maybe he should add another 4 inches to his glove.
He was there.
Yeah.
I mean, you could see his left arm. It really was not extended out. So he had a pretty good beat on that ball.
Let's see if Coco, who rarely bunts, but maybe try to drag the ball to advance Sogard to third.
Pickoff, and
wow.
How that did not go into center field, I have no idea. VR, I think he just put his glove out, and I don't even know if it hit his glove. It hit his arm or something.
It found something, but Sogard, look at that. All of a sudden there.
And he did get a glove out.
But he just put his glove out and said, please find the glove. Because otherwise it's center field, and Fowler was not reacting on the pickoff attempt. That's called a daylight that there was no daylight.
There was no daylight there anywhere. Coco's 0 for 3 today. Swing and a miss. Fowler could not make the catch in this inning. That's what he did yesterday.
Yeah, that was a great one. Especially to avoid injuring his left wrist, but somehow, and he's using the same glove, and it looks like the longer type, but the one that he tried to catch, this one off Sogard, just would not go in the glove.
Coco again swings and misses. 0-2 the count.
Well, he's not bunting, but he's trying to pull the ball, and for Coco to do this, especially to swing at a bad pitch, but I think getting back-to-back off-speed pitches, just figured that if he could roll over, he could advance Sogard. And now with 2 strikes, he'll have to do it somehow, try to make contact.
So Jerome Williams, second inning of work. Coco check swing. Goes right to the end of the A's dugout. Marlins beat the Mariners today 3-2. So their road trip for Seattle is over, and I think they're thrilled. 1-6.
Yeah.
Remember, they won the first game in Texas of a 4-game series.
Right.
Then they lost the next 3, went to Miami and got swept there. So a 1-6 trip for Seattle. And they limp home with a 7-11 record and a 6-game losing streak. Coco to Williams, who makes a nice play, throws to second, and they got Sogard. That is a nice play by Williams, not only to make the play, but then keep your composure and spin around. And Sogard just leaked off second base too far.
Well, the veteran Williams made sure that Sogard committed, because once the ball was caught, Sogard had started the third, and Williams, with Sogard going back to second, decided to, rightfully so, to throw there. But there are times you start running after a runner, trying to get him to commit. Sogard committed early, and unfortunately for him, I think he thought maybe the ball was to the left of Williams, but once he caught it, it was kind of no man's land. Coco probably will attempt to steal second, assuming his hamstring's okay, and try to get into scoring position as well.
Lowry cues it foul. Lowry, a single and a run scored in the first, a fly ball to right field in the third, and he walked in the fifth. So 3 for 8 in his career against Williams. The Indians beat the Blue Jays today 6-4. Josh Outman got the win. Outman's 3-0 out of that Indians bullpen. Exford got his 6th save. And that's a shot to right, and that's a base hit. Coco will stop at second. He's trying hard to get an insurance run. They've had opportunities since the first inning.
And that's the best thing, especially now, because Sogard, who was eliminated at second base, at least now with 1 out, you have a couple of runners on base. Lowry with a good job hitting the right side, especially after the single to left field and a walk.
Well, he's got their runs in the first inning on the Donaldson home run. They had a couple of base runners in the second. They had a leadoff walk in the fourth. They had second and third in the fifth. They had a double in the sixth. And they got first and second with 1 out here in the seventh. And they've yet to add on to that 2-run lead. Well, they waited to the 9th to add on yesterday.
It was almost too late, though.
Swing and a miss. Donaldson a little aggressive.
Think he was looking fastball?
I think he was.
For that swing.
Long look by Williams. And Donaldson just, I don't know if he asked for time. He just stepped out, and I don't know that time was given.
Well, let's hope from Williams' standpoint that he was verbally asking, and that's when, see, the umpire put up his hands. Why would then he get down in a position to call it? So maybe he didn't grant timeout.
That's hit to left field, and that's hit well. HOU's going back, and it's off the wall. 1 run scores. Lowry to third. He'll stop there, and Donaldson has done it again. Booming double to left field, and it's 3-1.
What a day for Josh Donaldson, and getting the hanging breaking ball, the one that he missed badly with the first pitch, and this one just not high enough to get up over the fence, so instead it's an RBI double. But off the out-of-town scoreboard, and for HOU's to get the ball back in. Stay hot, Josh Donaldson.
So 3 RBIs today for Donaldson, giving him 13 on the year. They're going to walk Moss. And they're going to face Gentry. Remember, Gentry's in the game for Cespedes. So the word from the clubhouse is a bruised right heel, and that's what's been bothering him. So Cespedes, that's why he left the game last inning. So the bases are loaded, 1 out and a run in against Jerome Williams.
Gentry's been swinging a very hot bat also, so not the bad guy to have up in this situation. And the infield kind of halfway because of Gentry's speed. I think they are saying it might be difficult to double him up if he does hit a ground ball. Looks like VR is going to play back.
First pitch to Gentry is outside. Gentry 7 hits and 17 at bats this year with a double and an RBI. Lowry, Donaldson, Moss are your runners. And now it's 2-0. So a chance for the A's to kind of break it open here.
Perfect time to hit. 2-0, bases loaded. Pitcher wants to throw a strike.
And a swing and a miss by Gentry. Pitch may have been a little bit low.
That was a quality strike.
Yep.
Sinking fastball from the batter Williams and down in the zone. Just kept heading down.
Two 2-1 pitch is a strike. 2-2.
Same one he swung at, and maybe he thought, as we thought, he swung at a ball when he swung at the first one, but in case the second pitch, similar zone, almost identical, but it was called a strike, and maybe because he swung at the previous pitch.
And he swung at a pitch in the dirt, so Williams went with that cutter slider, and he gets a big strike out of Gentry.
They threw some very good pitches the last three, especially, and for Gentry, after he got hit 2-0, really never got a pitch to hit after that.
So 2 outs, and here's Callaspo. Callaspo a single in the second, a fly ball to center field in the fourth, a fly ball to right field in the sixth. Callaspo swings the ball, rolls past Castro, and the A's are going to get a run. Lowry slides in. Castro couldn't find it initially, and the A's have scored twice here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
All it takes is a runner at third base to see the catcher spinning around and wondering where the ball is. That's a cross-up, too, because the way Castro went after it, and Williams knew where it was. Castro, though, could not throw it, but the way he set up inside and then awkwardly tried to catch the ball, then didn't know where it was. They gave a pass ball?
They did, yeah.
So when the official score needs to ask who messed up, because the cross-up occurs. It's somebody that's messed up, but good news for the A's. They catch the break and score a run.
So now 4-1. Callaspo swings and misses. 0-2 the count. So a double, fielder's choice, single, double, walk, strikeout, pass ball, and 2 runs for the A's. It hit right up the middle, but the shortstop VR is playing right there. Side retired, 2 runs on 3 hits for the Athletics, so they get some insurance. It's now 4-1 after 7.
By Xfinity, home of the most live sports. And by Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability, and resale value. Toyota, let's go places.
Beautiful look at Mount Diablo. And it's a 4-1 A's lead over the Astros here in the top of the 8th inning. Sean Doolittle got the final out in the 7th. He got Castro to fly out to left field with 2 runners on, and Doolittle remains in the game, and he faces George Springer. Springer, Kraus, Carter. Well, Jesus Guzman, the right-handed hitter, is in the on-deck circle, so he's going to hit for Kraus. Another pop-up right side. This should reach the seats, and it will. White Sox beat the Rangers. It's a final now, 16-2. White Sox had 18 hits. Jose Abreu hit another home run. Ray's got 5. Everything we've read about the Cuban first baseman is that he could be very special.
Yeah.
Big, strong right-handed hitter for the White Sox.
Definitely big.
Hector Noesi, who, remember, he got let go by the Mariners, signed by the Rangers. He gave up 7 earned runs in 1 inning.
Took one for the team.
I think that's that guy you're talking about.
Yeah.
The reliever who goes in these ugly games and things get worse. Very high, right near the pitcher's mound. Donaldson, and then Lowry. And Lowry reaches down right at the last minute. And it pops out of his glove. Well, they looked at each other a little bit, and there was uncertainty, you could tell, and it ends up falling, and we'll see what the ruling is.
Well, the important thing, and we have seen the Astros, and Springer was sprinting as soon as he hit it. And which Donaldson didn't see it. He looked at Lowry, and Lowry just stuck out his glove, and I guess if you're going really great, the ball's going to stick.
So E6, right?
That's a brutal call. That's a brutal call. I mean, all he did was put his glove out. But
yeah, it almost looked like Donaldson had it all the way, and then at the last minute, that's where the uncertainty came in. And Lowry, I think Lowry was just trying to save the day.
And if Lowry doesn't put a glove on it, it's going to be a double,
hit,
which it should have been anyway, because that was an emergency. And you know, for someone to say, well, he got his glove on it, but that was an emergency. That was simply just trying to do it. So
that would be an unfair error.
Yeah, well, it penalizes two players, and you know, it's definitely one that you chalk up to. I'll leave it at that.
1-1 pitch to Guzman. He lifts it high and foul.
As we mentioned in the opener of the series, the Friday night game, of course, yesterday and today, both day games. Dave Tremblay, the bench coach, former manager, and he's told his players last year when he coached third base, he's told them this year, Sunfield in Oakland is the toughest sun, as we talked about. You run hard, you never know what can happen, and Springer listened.
Fastball way high. So 2-2 the count. Chris Carter waits in the on deck circle. Guzman lays off that. It's high again. So a full count.
Again, as we've said often, this is when a pitcher has to take it upon himself to try to get through an inning in which he should already have one out.
Guzman swings and misses, so Doolittle gets the big strikeout.
Remember, we talked about how if a pitcher could throw up in the zone the way Doolittle does with this pitch and never be hit. Well, there's a perfect example, because it's probably out of the strike zone, but high as it was, there's no way that Guzman could catch up to it.
So here's Carter, who has hit 3 fly balls to left field. Carter swings and misses, 92 miles an hour, and the count is 0-1. Raul Valdez, the lone lefty in the Astros bullpen. Swing and a miss again, 94 miles an hour.
You know, those first 2 swings, you put an NC beside it.
No chance. I was thinking the same thing.
Those are
not good swings.
2 very good fastballs. And you'd have to think, why speed up his bat by throwing something off speed?
So there's that fastball up and away. Carter in his career versus Doolittle 0 for 4 with a walk and 3 strikeouts. One-two pitch, just a touch outside, even the count at 2-2.
Makes you wonder how he couldn't swing at it or didn't swing at it.
Carter in this series is 1 for 9. Swing and a miss. No chance again, and Carter strikes out. 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning.
Challenged him, and why not?
Now batting, number 28.
Chris Carter is a big, strong power hitter, and that was not a power hitter swing.
No.
2 outs for L.J. Hose, who's 0 for 3. Couple of ground outs and a fly out for Hose. And a fastball right on the outside corner for a strike. I mean, just watch the swing from Chris Carter.
You know, his positioning of his hands when he has them down low. I mean, you've got to really load up fast to get back in the hitting position to catch up to a good fastball.
So 1-1 to Hose. And Chris Carter, he's always hit like that, where really doesn't do much of anything. He just, and if the ball drops in the right spot, he's going to hit it a long way. So 1-2. And HOU's kind of an emergency swing or a little bit of late swing, and that ball sailed right over top of the Astros dugout, and that was scary. Doolittle again. The 1-2 pitch. Chop toward Lowry, who charges, gets a nice big hop, throws in time, side retired. So Doolittle doing his thing as always, and the A's have a 4-1 lead.
One, two, three, four.
Game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 1-5-0 for the Astros, 4-9-2 for the Athletics. Home run for the Astros, Marwin Gonzalez. Home run for the A's, Josh Donaldson. He's knocked in all 3 runs, or 3 of the 4 runs, I should say. And another strong performance by Jesse Chavez. So the A's trying to sweep the Astros and continue to hold on to the best record in the American League here in the early going. So Jerome Williams to face Reddick, and the first pitch is a strike. Twins beat the Royals today 8-3, so Minnesota cools off the red-hot Royals. Royals had won 5 in a row. And you see who the new outfielder is for the Minnesota Twins. Sam Fuld. So Sam Fuld claimed off waivers by the Minnesota Twins. So good luck to Sam Fuld. He may get a chance to play there a little bit.
Probably quite a bit. Especially if their outfielders continue to be injured, which for a while when we were there, Von Gardenhire is playing outfielders in the, or catchers in the outfield. So that means a few teams passed on him as well.
Yeah, definitely. That surprised me.
I agree. But wish him well. He did well here, and not surprised that he got a job in the big leagues.
2-2 now to Reddick. Reddick 1 for 3 with a double. And he rolls over on that one. Altuve takes care of it. So Reddick is out, number 1. Hey, join us tomorrow when the A's open up a 3-game set with the Texas Rangers. Straley and Darvish is your pitching matchup. Our coverage begins at 6:30 with A's pregame live. The home of A's baseball is Comcast Sportsnet. So Darvish off to a good start. And Dan Straley looking for his second win of the year. So always fun when the A's and the Rangers square off, and the Rangers with a few changes. Sin-Shu Chu, Prince Fielder. So they got a little bit of a different look. And the Rangers finished up a long homestand today. So they're trying to get healthy. They got Colby Lewis back, who got his first win yesterday. It sounds like Matt Harrison, their left-handed starter, is going to be back very soon. Springer coming in. He got a good jump. He's got it. And Kevin Kuzminoff has been a very hot hitter for the Rangers. So we'll see Kevin Kuzminoff. So the A's and the Rangers tomorrow night, the first of 3. A couple of night games and then a day game. So Sogard hit, excuse me, right?
If you want to watch the A's in person, you have to come out the next 3 games because another trip waits the A's, another 3-city trip. If not, all 3 games right here on Comcast Sportsnet California.
Sogard slaps one to left. He's got a hit. Sogard, a 2-out single. He's 2 for 4.
A good opposite field with Williams throwing the 2-seamer down and away. Sogard, who pulled the ball in the right center. His last at bat gets a nice opposite field hit. The more of those that he gets, the better he's going to be.
So Coco gets his 5th at bat, 0 for 4, but he reached on a fielder's choice and scored a run in the 7th inning. And the first pitch called a strike. Yankees beat the Rays today 5-1 in 12 innings. 4-run top of the 12th for the Yankees. Swing and a miss. So that's your scores. The Orioles and the Red Sox will be the night game.
See, when you're world champions, you're playing a lot of
Sunday games. I think you do.
And then they have the Patriots game tomorrow, so that's a late game start tonight, and the Patriots game at 11 o'clock tomorrow.
That's a good call by you.
Wow.
You would think maybe a station would have a little sympathy and say, you know what, we'll put another game on.
Yeah.
Tough play for the shortstop, VR, and they got him. So a nice play by VR. Coco thought maybe he had an infield hit. Not the case. 4-1 as we head to the 9th. He's trying to wrap up the sweep.
One thing we do know, he settled down and pitched extremely well in the final couple of innings. He's the player of the game. Just one earned run allowed in all 4 starts. A 1.3 earned run average.
Donaldson a big day. A home run, a double, make it 2 doubles and 3 RBIs for A's third baseman. So when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. So Gregerson comes in. Couple of saves, couple of blown saves for Gregerson so far. And he'll try to save it with Barton coming in at first. Marwin Gonzalez to lead it off. And the first pitch is low. So Gonzalez, VR, a couple of switch hitters, and then Jose Altuve, a right-handed hitter. Gonzalez a single, a homer, and a ground out. Taps that one over Gregerson's head. Sogard on the backhand throw to first. Got him. Nice defensive play to open up the top of the 9th inning.
Well, you have to react very quickly if you're an infielder with the ball back towards the pitcher and then caroms off him. And Sogard makes it as well as anybody, and throwing off balance, throwing underneath the momentum, carrying him towards the third base dugout. What a play
number 6
by Sogi.
Jonathan VR.
So Jonathan VR steps up. What a job by Doolittle. An inning and a third. No hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts.
Sogi, and you throw across your body like that, that's an exceptional play. And Eric did it great. You know, Sean Doolittle was concerned about the negotiations contract that was ongoing since March. Said it relaxed him. Well, he proved it today.
Yes, he did.
Quite a job for him.
Well, if relax during the talks, but if you can't relax after you agree to a 5-year extension, something's wrong. What a great feeling that must be.
Absolutely. And that feeling of being wanted, which it's a good contract for both the player and for the club.
Rolled foul. Right, you give a young player lots of security, and for the organization, you probably save a little bit of money.
If a player or pitcher does well, you save a lot of money.
Yep.
Because they're locked up, and I don't know that I've seen or heard of clubs who say, hey, you're playing so well, we're going to tear up the contract.
That's
and
not
give
going to happen.
More money. And it works conversely the other way, too, as far as a player being comfortable.
So VR waves at a pitch that was outside, and 2 outs here in the top of the 9th inning. A's 1 out away from the sweep.
Now batting, number 27, Jose Altuve.
So it's Altuve, who is 1 for 3 with a double and a walk. Gregerson kicks, and his first pitch is hit on the ground to the shortstop, right at Lowry, picks it up, throws, and that's the ball game. So a very quiet 9th inning for Luke Gregerson. He gets his 3rd save. Jesse Chavez gets his first win, and the A's finish off the sweep of the Houston Astros, and they outscore the Astros in this series 19-7. So the A's continue to roll along. They've won 7 out of 8, and they continue to have the best record in the American League. They're now 13-5. So a good weekend for the Athletics, and now they get set to host the Texas Rangers. You've been watching A's Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California. Don't go away. A's Postgame Live with Chris Townsend and Biff Roberts starts right now.